Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now February 25th of 2021, and ever since the Gina Carano firing situation by Lucasfilm, a lot of fans have been very skeptical about the future of the Star Wars franchise and exactly where things are really going by Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and others out there. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing is for certain is that yes, we do know that a large amount of Star Wars fans have canceled their Disney Plus subscription. Disney's getting a little bit worried about that. They're going into this panic mode. And this is exactly why Kathleen Kennedy has refused to make an official statement on the Gina Carano situation. Now, a lot of things are getting a little bit worse behind the scenes between Lucasfilm employees. We've talked about this before in the past that yes, there is a divide between certain employees over at Lucasfilm. Ironically, it's similar to the Star Wars fandom where you have this divide, where you have fans that do not accept the sequel trilogy and other fans that accept the sequel trilogy movies. Now, moving away from all of this, by far, one of the most beloved characters in Star Wars is, of course, Ahsoka Tano. And a lot of fans were very much surprised and very much welcoming Rosario Dawson, portraying the live-action version in, I believe it was Chapter 13 of Mando Season 2, when she made her debut, pretty much fighting alongside Mando, and really doing all these crazy stunts. Now, one thing I will say is that Rosario Dawson knows how to play and look like Ahsoka. She nails the character to a T. I mean, it was the perfect cast. Jon Favreau did an excellent job on that, and listened to the fans. Mind you, fans wanted Rosario Dawson years ago, and Jon Favreau listened. So he actually listened to the fandom. However, what's really complex is that, well, given that The Mandalorian Season 3 is now in development, both Disney and Lucasfilm have been focused on their new Star Wars projects, such as the Kenobi series and Mandalorian. However, it's described that behind the scenes since the firing of Gina Carano, some Lucasfilm employees already want another Star Wars actress fired from the Disney Plus streaming platform. It's noted that a handful of Lucasfilm illustrators, storytellers, and concept artists want and are calling for Rosario Dawson to be fired from the Ahsoka TV series, and that a handful of Lucasfilm employees want Rosario Dawson to be replaced based on Dawson's complex story that had to do with the LGBTQ community. That many are, of course, very angry at Rosario Dawson and believe that she does not deserve to be Ahsoka Tano in the new show. Further, it's described that there is indeed a divide over at Lucasfilm as a company between employees, and that, however, it's said that Disney CEO Bob Chapek is refusing to fire Rosario Dawson and has no plans to do so at all. Separate from all of this, it's noted that Kathleen Kennedy is still refusing to make an official statement on the Gina Carano situation and refuses to reveal exactly how she planned for Gina Carano to get fired. Kathleen Kennedy also said, and is also said to actually have to pretty much, be put into this position where she's tried to cast blame on another Lucasfilm employee on why Gina Carano ended up getting fired behind the scenes, and wanted this employee that is high up in Lucasfilm to make an official statement. Kennedy is looking for somebody else to show face and speak words about the Gina Carano firing this March, and that Kathleen Kennedy has no plans to show her face on camera about her feelings and her decision on Gina. Now, let me just stop right here for 1 second. Now, Rosario Dawson, the whole thing that happened, I'm sure that you guys know the story, that really angered the LGBTQ community, not the entire community, but a certain percentage of it. A lot of employees over at Lucasfilm, a certain amount of illustrators and storytellers and concept artists are calling for Rosario Dawson to be fired and let go. Now, obviously, Disney CEO Bob Chapek is not having it. He's not agreeing with that overall stance on Rosario Dawson. Rosario Dawson is Ahsoka just as much as Hayden Christensen is Anakin. It just works. I don't even know, I know a lot of people were complaining that Ashley did not get the role of Ahsoka Tano, but at the end of the day, after witnessing Rosario Dawson's performance, it was dead on perfect. It was dead on perfect. To the point where I think I would love to see Rosario Dawson stay as the live-action version of Ahsoka Tano. And why wouldn't we, right? We already have her as Ahsoka Tano. What's done is done. I feel that a recast, if anything, would be terrible on Lucasfilm's part and would only create more backlash. Could you imagine if they actually fired Rosario Dawson? Could you imagine the sheer amount of backlash from fans? I think that would really set Lucasfilm off to the point where they would actually have to make an official statement. Now, do I believe that Rosario Dawson is going to get fired? Realistically speaking, I highly doubt it. I want to just put you guys at ease here. I highly doubt that Rosario Dawson is going to get fired. I wouldn't be surprised if she did, but in this entire scenario, I highly doubt it, given that Bob Chapek, the Disney CEO, does not want this to happen. It's just that Lucasfilm employees want Ahsoka Tano pretty much replaced by somebody else. They don't want her being portrayed by Rosario Dawson because of that big story some months ago, more so close to a year. I'm sure that you guys know what I'm talking about. We talked about this before in the past. So, the other thing is that Kathleen Kennedy is actually casting blame on another Lucasfilm employee. We're not quite sure who. It's somebody very much high up in the company, casting blame on him or her that they are the one responsible for the Gina Carano firing, and that she wants them to show face and speak words as opposed to herself. This just proves that Kathleen Kennedy is very embarrassed based on what happened with that Oscar video of how it got so many, downvotes, and how the Oscar channel had to really just hide everything. It just goes to show us that the fans have power to a great extent, and that Kathleen Kennedy is not liked. She's not. Because, look at what she did to Gina. Fired her through social media. This is like something that you would expect to see in, like, high school or something around those lines, like getting a breakup through text or something like that. Not face-to-face. That's how I view it. That's my analogy. So, when we look at Kathleen Kennedy here, it's very childlike, it's very immature, it's very unprofessional, and it just kind of changes one's perspective of the Lucasfilm company. And we've gone over this just yesterday, of how George Lucas is said to be very much depressed over how his legacy, over how his company, or what was his company, is pretty much being viewed in a different way. And I don't blame him. I mean, he was promised by Kathleen Kennedy that the characters would be respected, that she was going to take care of Star Wars, right? Imagine yourself at maybe late 60s, early 70s, you've done films forever, and you want to take a break, and you don't know if you can do more movies, but you want to see more of those movies. That's exactly what he wanted. He wanted to see more of his movies be made without him having the burden to make them. So that's why he turned over to Disney. That's why he turned over to Kathleen Kennedy. He actually trusted them, and it just did not work, sadly. That's the overall scenario. So Gina Carano, all right? I mean, this is also a very touchy situation right now, because Lucasfilm is denying, all right, that they are actually going to have any kind of recast of Gina Carano, but there are plans. They are trying to push that recast of Gina in order to create more merchandise of Carano's character, Cara Dune. So like I've said before in the past, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.